Once upon a time, in a quiet American town, there lived a man named Zion with his loving wife and 2 kids. Zion was hardworking. He kept trying different businesses just to support his family. But somehow, nothing ever worked out. Why? Because whatever Zion started, his clever neighbor Mick would copy it and always find a way to take his customers. If Zion sold vegetables, Mick would 2 but cheaper. If Zion opened a tea stall, Mick would open one right next to it and somehow his tea would taste better. One evening, Zion sat outside his small home, worried. His wife, Celia, sat beside him. "What's wrong?" she asked gently. "What else?" Zion sighed. "Every time I start a business, Mick copies me and takes away all my customers. I don't know what to do anymore." Celia thought for a moment. "Why don't you try selling pumpkins?" she said. "They're easy to grow, and no one else is selling them in the market." Encouraged, Zion gave it a try. The next morning, he bought a cart full of fresh, sweet pumpkins and set up a stall in town. "Come, come, sweet pumpkins for sale. Best pumpkins in town." People gathered. The pumpkins were large, fresh, and vibrant. Zion was finally making money, and he returned home that night with a wide smile, but ... it didn't last long. The next morning, Zion saw Mick at the market, selling pumpkins too. "Sweet pumpkins, for just $2 each," Mick shouted. Zion watched helplessly as his customers slowly drifted over to Mick's stall. That night, Zion sat silently, frustrated. "Why does he always have to copy me?" he muttered. Celia placed a hand on his shoulder. "Don't worry. Try selling fish instead," she suggested. "Not everyone knows how to handle fresh fish. Maybe this time will be different." "All right, one last try," Zion sighed. The next day, Zion went to the river and bought fresh Hilsa fish, then set up a stall. Fresh Hilsa, which is $5 per pound. People were excited. Good fish, great price. But once again, the next day, Mick showed up, selling Hilsa Tuat for $1.50 per pound. Zion was crushed. That night, he threw down his towel in anger. "I've had enough. He ruins everything I try." But Celia smiled. "Don't worry. This time, I have a plan. He won't be able to copy it." Zion leaned in. Celia whispered her idea. His eyes lit up. That could actually work." The next morning, Zion hired workers and built a strong platform on top of his house.
Yes.
Once ready, he brought in several goats and started raising them on the platform quietly. A few days later, Mick's wife stopped by Zion's home. "Why hasn't Zion been in the market lately?" she asked Celia. Celia smiled. "Oh, we've started a new business. We're doing fish farming on our rooftop." "Fish farming?" Mick's wife frowned. "Yes. We built a big platform. The fish are growing fast. We'll be making lots of money soon," Celia added. Mick's wife ran home and told him everything. "If Zion can do it, it can do it better," Mick declared. He built an even bigger platform and filled it with water. And even more fish. "I'll sell them before Zion and make more money," he grinned. But then, the monsoon arrived. Heavy rain poured for days. Mick's overloaded platform couldn't take it. And then Mick woke up to a loud crash. The platform collapsed. Water and debris flooded his house. The goats fell through the ceiling. Mick and his wife stood helpless. The next morning, Zion stood at his door smiling. "Copying someone isn't so easy, right?" he said. "Now face the consequences of your own actions. You were too busy trying to beat me instead of thinking for yourself." "By the way," Zion added, "all this was Celia's plan," he then explained. "I wasn't farming fish. I was raising goats and last night. I sold them for $9,900. You were too busy copying me to realize what I was really doing." That evening, Zion came home with his pockets full. Celia smiled. Finally, things worked out. Zion nodded. "Because this time I didn't copy anyone, and no one could copy me." From that day on, Mick learned a valuable lesson. Success comes from originality and hard work, not from copying others. And as for Zion, his business continued to grow. He had finally discovered the real secret to success. Work hard. Think smart. Be original. More of the story. True and lasting success doesn't come from imitation. It comes from creativity, strategy, and self-belief. Subscribe to Inspirational Hub for more powerful stories that move your heart and mind. Because at Inspirational Hub, we believe in stories that inspire change,